Lady Bracknell, I admit with shame that I do not know. I only wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mention, a day that is forever branded on my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in its perambulator. I had also with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag, in which I had intended to place the manuscript of a work of fiction that I had written during my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction for which I never can forgive myself, I deposited the manuscript in the bassinet and placed the baby in the handbag.
Where did you deposit the handbag?
Do not ask me, Mr. Worthing.
Miss Prism, this is a matter of no small importance to me. I insist on knowing where you deposited the handbag that contained that infant.
I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station?
Victoria. The Brighton line.
I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, wait here for me.
If you are not too long, I will wait for you all my life.
What do you think this means, Lady Bracknell?
I dare not even suspect, Dr. Treasurer. I need hardly tell you that in families of high position, strange coincidences are not supposed to occur. They are hardly considered the thing.
Uncle Jack seems strangely agitated.
Your guardian has a very emotional nature.
This noise is extremely unpleasant. It sounds as if he was having an argument. I dislike arguments of any kind. They are always vulgar and often convincing.
It has stopped now.
I wish he would arrive at some conclusion.
This suspense is terrible. I hope it will last.
Is this the bag, Miss Prism? Examine it carefully before you speak. The happiness of more than one life depends on your answer.
It seems to be mine. Yes. Here is the injury it received through the upsetting of a Gower Street omnibus in younger and happier days. Here is the stain on the lining caused by the explosion of a temperance beverage, an incident that occurred at Leamington. And here on the lock are my initials. I'd forgotten that in an extravagant mood I had them placed there. Oh, the bag is undoubtedly mine. I am delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It's been a great inconvenience being without it all these years.
Miss Prism, more to you is restored than this handbag. I was the baby you placed in it.
You?
Yes. Oh, Mother.
Mr. Worthing, I am unmarried.
Unmarried? I do not deny that is a serious blow. But after all, who has the right to cast a stone against one who has suffered? Cannot repentance wipe out an act of folly? Why should there be one law for men and one for women? Mother, I forgive you.
Mr. Worthing, there is some error. There is the lady who can tell you who you really are.
Lady Bracknell, I hate to seem inquisitive, but would you kindly inform me who I am?
I am afraid the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Algernon's elder brother? Algernon's elder brother? Then I have a brother after all. I always said I had a brother. I knew I had a brother. Cecily, how could you have doubted I had a brother? Dr. Chasuble, my unfortunate brother. Miss Prism, my unfortunate brother. Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother. Algy, you will have to treat me with more respect in the future. You've never behaved to me like a brother in all your life.
Well, not till today, old boy, I admit. However, I did my best, though I was out of practice.
My own? But what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you have become someone else?
Oh, God. I'd quite forgotten that point. Your decision on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change except in my affections.
What a noble nature you have, Gwendolen.
Then the question had better be cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta. A moment. At the time when Miss Prism left me in the handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
Then I had been christened. That is settled now. What name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Being the eldest son, you were naturally christened after your father.
Yes. What was my father's Christian name?
I cannot at the moment recall what the General's Christian name was. I have no doubt he had one. He was eccentric, I admit, but only in later years. And that was the result of the Indian climate, and marriage, and indigestion, and other things of that kind.
Algy, can't you recollect what our father's Christian name was?
My dear boy, we weren't even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
Miss... His name would appear in the army lists of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta.
The General was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life, but I have no doubt his name would appear in any military directory.
The army lists of the last 40 years are here. These delightful records should have been my constant study. Generals, Malham, Maxbow, Magley. What ghastly names they have. Markby, Mixby, Mobbs, Moncrief. Lieutenant, 1840. Captain. Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel. General, 1869. Christian names. Earnest. John. I always told you, Gwendolen, my name is Ernest, didn't I? Well, it is Ernest after all. I mean, it naturally is Ernest.
Yes. I remember now that the General was called Earnest. I knew I had some particular reason for disliking the name.
Ernest, my own Ernest. I felt from the first you could have no other name.
It is a terrible thing for a man to find out suddenly that all his life he's been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you ever forgive me?
I can, for I feel that you are sure to change.
My own man.
I have come to the conclusion that the primitive church was in error on certain points. Miss Prism, Letitia, I beg to solicit the honor of your hand.
Frederick, at last.
Cecily, at last.
Gwendolen, at last.
My nephew? You seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I have now realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.